Welcome to this TOK 21 educational production of The Quest for the Scepter of UTUA. This quest involves exotic gardens, strange caves, interesting trips of the mind, evil characters, dangerous dragons. But there are also forces of good, hope, and wisdom. And so you are a band of travelers in the world of UTUA, which is filled with forests and caves, oceans, rivers, and gardens. You discover there is trouble in the land. The orange dragon Trumperton has been awakened by a fire in the blue church at the center of the capital. It caused a destructive conflict, and then in frustration, the townspeople repeated his name too many times, and he came to respond to their calling. Now he is wreaking havoc, and people everywhere are being torn apart by the chaos he leaves in his wake. Princess Hope from the town of Goodwill comes to your band of travelers and begs for your help. We must stop Trumperton, and only you can save us. She tells you must contact Waldemar, the forest philosopher, as only he knows how to stop Trumperton. You head off on your quest, but your band is stopped by an irritating little fellow. It's Sene, the skeptical killjoy troll. He tells you you will never succeed in your quest. He is a troll who blocks your way. He doubts you have the strength, knowledge. He tells you you cannot pass unless you prove you are truly exceptional. Thankfully, out of the forest comes a figure. It's Waldemar, the forest philosopher. He turns to you and says, "You can succeed, but to do so, you must be wise, true to yourself, and good to others. The only way to defeat Trumperton is with the Scepter in the Garden of UTUA. You must embark on a quest for the Scepter. To start that quest and get past Sene, you must first find your spirit object and show that you are truly unique and exceptional. Your spirit object represents the essence of who you are. It might be a pet or a symbol in the stars. It might be a flower. It could be an ancient symbol of an animal or something that draws you in its beauty or strength. Take a moment and think, what might your spirit object be? It represents the essence of your true self, all that you could potentially be in the world. As you find it, explain to Sene why you are special, what makes you unique, and what it is about your spirit object that captures that. As you do that, Sene is impressed and acknowledges that you have much potential to offer this world, and he allows you to pass. You turn to Waldemar for guidance, telling him what Princess Hope said. And he spells out the quest to find the scepter. The only way to get to the Garden of UTUA is via the stepping stone found on the River of Character. You must enter the River of Character where the mouth meets the ocean G. The only way to get to the mouth of the River of Character is to cross the ocean G on a P300 Waverider. The only known P300 Waverider is found in the Cave of the Mind's Eye. He gives you a picture of the cave. But unfortunately, the anaconda serpent sisters block the cave. Sene shouts out, "You will never get by the serpents." Waldemar says it's hard, but there is a way. The 4P clover fairies can charm the serpents. You must find the fairies in the forest of UTUA. They are shy and do not like outsiders, so you will need to prove to them that you are worthy. You travel to the forest of UTUA and find the fairies, but they are shy and upset. They dance around and confess to you that they have lost their charm, which is their spirit object. They must find it. Can you help the 4P clover fairies and find the 4P clover charm in the UTUA forest? You search, it's difficult, you look everywhere, and then, after several hours, you locate the charm behind a tree. Because you help them find their charm, the 4P clover fairies will help you and guide you to the cave of the mind's eye, and they will help you get past the serpents. To get by the snakes, you must charm them. Help the fairies charm the serpents by repeating this chant 3 times. Ubuntu UTUA Ubuntu. Ubuntu UTUA Ubuntu. Ubuntu UTUA Ubuntu. You say the charm comes down, and it captures the serpents and spins them upside down. When the serpents charm, you can enter the cave to retrieve the P300 Waverider. Can you find the P300 Waverider in the cave of the mind's eye? Yes, that is excellent. But to ride the P300, you must spark it via an ignition switch with your mind. And to do that, you must play the Inside Out game. The Inside Out game asks the question, what do you see when you see a table? There is the inside world and the outside world. There's the physical world, the idea of a table, your body, your brain and nervous system, the image inside your head, your language, and your actions interacting with the world. How are they related? Does the table exist inside or outside your brain? Now, with this, you shout out, "I see both." And the answer both ignites the Waverider. You look outside the cave and see that the ocean G is just outside the cave of the mind's eye. You hop onto the Waverider looking for the Hurdy J River of character. You find the raft of development and hop on it because it will take you into the mouth of the river of character. You find the Hurdy J River of character. And as you travel up the river of character, you must find the stepping stone. Can you see where the stepping stone might be? Yes, there it is. You move over to the stepping stone, and underneath it, you find a portal that has a circular coin on it. You rotate the coin, and then you flip the coin, and this reveals a path of investment toward the entrance of the garden. You are pulled into the portal, and at the end, you come to a gate. It is blocked by the WIC WB. To enter the garden, you must show the WIC WB that your quest and heart is noble. You see on the outskirts the edge of the garden. The WIC WB is a worker bee that represents doing that which cultivates the good. It emphasizes wisdom, interests, character, and well-being. Wisdom is knowledge and practice toward valued ends. Interests are resources, needs, desires of self and others in the world. Character is about development and adaptation into a personality that carries virtue. And well-being is happiness with the worthiness to be happy. The WIC WB symbolizes these words of wisdom, interest, character, and well-being, and carries them in its daily structural activities. It seeks to promote a society that cultivates practical wisdom and dignity and well-being with integrity for all. So the WIC WB has the following questions for you. What is wisdom? And how can you be wise? What are human interests? What are your needs and desires and wants? What are others' needs, desires, resources, and wants? What is good character? What does it mean to be a good person? And what is well-being? Can you identify it and can you lead toward it? Reflect on these. Wonder about them. Check in to see when you have been moving toward the virtuous, when you have helped the world in some way be better. And when maybe have you had trouble and struggled and not been all that you could be. Maybe other people haven't been. What does it feel like when you're moving in one way or another? Who do you want to be and how? As you reflect on those and share some of these thoughts, the WIC WB sees that you care and have the capacity, and that indeed you lean towards cultivating dignity and well-being with integrity, and the gate opens. And you find yourself welcomed in the garden of UTUA, which consists of a tree and a flower garden with seeds, the stepping stone, and 2 worker bees. We already introduced the WIC WB. The wicked WISM bee is its second bee. It's about cultivating wise sense and meaning making. It emphasizes how you pull data and information together to make knowledge, and that can point you toward wisdom. It connects to a part in the garden called the Tree of Knowledge system that identifies the need for wisdom in the 21st century. The wisdom part of the bee identifies how to think about yourself in a holistic, systemic way, how to think about the beliefs and values you share with the people around you, how to think about your own unique perspective on the world, and how to think about what you do and what others can see you do, your behavior. This allows you to identify the I, the we, the it, and the its in the world. Together, the WIC WB provide a framework for understanding ways to cultivate wisdom, the hard work of character building of the WIC WB, and the pollinating of wisdom of the wicked WISM bee. The wicked WISM bee is more about how to develop right structures of thinking, whereas the WIC WB is more about doing the right thing in the world. The 4 key words of the garden, as the WIC bee noted, are wisdom, interests, character, and well-being. However, we can enrich our understanding of these 4 words by linking them to the 8 key words in the garden, each one of which is associated with a branch of the tree. Well, the first is knowledge and justification, which together help orient us toward wisdom. The second two are investment and influence, which help us understand interests. The next two are adaptation and development, which frame character. And then finally, well-being and the mindfulness principles and processes to cultivate it going forward. So these 8 key ideas, eight words orient us to 8 key ideas. Now knowledge is mapped by the tree of knowledge system. Justification by justification systems theory, and an updated map of human consciousness. And there's behavioral investment theory and the influence matrix to understand human interests. Character adaptation systems theory and the wheel of development help us frame human personality and character. And the nested model of well-being and COM-MO orient us to cultivate well-being with ourselves and with others across time. We can turn now to the tree in the middle of the garden, which has a center flower called the me flower. The me flower stands for the Metaphysical, Empirical, Continuum, and Dialectic. This is the Metaphysical, Empirical Continuum. Metaphysical refers to the concepts and categories that are used to describe reality. Empirical refers to information pulled through senses and measurement. The garden offers a big me, that is a big metaphysical, empirical view of the universe. Each individual person has a small me view of the world. That is, you have rational thoughts that divide the world up, and you have senses that pull in data and information. Together, the big M-E and the little m-E intentionally spells meme. Meme is an idea that we can pull together to form our individual into collective notions across various kinds of dialectics to create a synthesis that moves us toward the good with dignity and truth. The tree divides into the unified theory of psychology and the unified approach to psychotherapy. When they're put together, it generates a theory of knowledge. This then shows for the whole tree as a metaphysical, empirical, unified theory of psychology, unified approach to psychotherapy, theory of knowledge tree, or the UTUA tree, or just the UTOC tree. The UTOC tree sits in the middle of the garden. Crucial to understand it are the domains around it, such as the stepping stone. The stepping stone grounds the garden in modern science and physics. It stands for the standard theory of elementary particle physics, which are the most fundamental objects that are parts of atoms that together make up everything around us. And here is a complicated map that is etched onto the stepping stone that helps us make sense of the very, very fundamental pieces that together produce the world around us. This maps us in what's called the material dimension. The material dimension is what the physical sciences study. The essence of the bottom of it is a domain called quantum mechanics. Then there's the seed. The UTUA seed has 3 different elements to it, one of which is a frame for wisdom that identifies 3 core meta values of dignity, well-being, and integrity, and aligns them with the big 3 of beauty, goodness, and truth that together orient us toward valued states of being. It also identifies the unified theory, unified approach infinity symbol that connects pure reason and practical reason, and around it allows us to identify key domains of education, a way to think about language arts and the development of language, development of math, of natural science, of phenomenology and psychology, of social studies like sociology, political science, and history, and then finally, ethics and morality. Together, these 6 domains make up major domains of study that you can learn in school and to teach you how to be a more whole human being and learn what is important in the world. Finally, the UTUA seed has a way to link mathematics and humanistic thought together. This equation represents a formal path into the garden. It actually connects that coin and follows some steps and allows linkages between the magical place of the garden and the outside world. But where is the scepter? To identify the scepter, we must put the me UTUA TOK back together. You turn around and see that it's fractured. Wait a minute, where are these puzzle pieces? Where do they go? You look carefully and think. You remember that there is a centerpiece, that metaphysical, empirical dialectic. And then it's that word wisdom that is connected to knowledge, right? And there was the tree of knowledge. And then there was the ways in which people justify. What was that next word? That next word was interest. That's right. And that connects to people's investments with the world around them. And of course, then that includes other people and their influence matrix that you're in. Then the word was character, which related to adaptation and development. And finally, the word was well-being. And there was the nested model and the way to get it via mindfulness. The tree is put together, and behind it, you find the scepter. To take the scepter out of the garden, you must replace it with your spirit object. After placing your spirit object in the garden, you may now leave with the scepter. You return through the portal and start back down the river of character. You get back on the P300 Waverider and ride the waves of the ocean G. You pass the Serpents in the cave of the mind's eye. You travel through the forest and past the 4P clovers. And you happen upon Sene and Waldemar. You have come farther than I thought you would, but you still need to deal with the dragon. You're almost there. You can do it. Waldemar guides you to the princess. We will tell the princess you have the UTUA scepter. She can call the dragon. He cannot resist her. Trumperton, 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 she calls. Princess Hope calls Trumperton. He appears. I knew you would come calling. Join me as I conquer the world. Come closer, Trumperton, so I can kiss you. Instead, she grabs Trumperton by his big hat and shouts to your band, now! As Trumperton leans in, she grabs Trumperton by his big head and shouts, now! Quick as a flash, your band jumps out of hiding and taps Trumperton on the nose with the scepter of UTUA. No, he cries, I've been tricked. All of a sudden, he starts to be transformed. The UTUA scepter does not kill Trumperton. It just turns him into a playful, childlike dragon who needs to be patted on the head and given some love and wisdom. Its purpose realized, the scepter transforms back into your spirit object. Your connection with the garden is now with you wherever you go. You turn to Princess Hope and Waldemar, and they are thrilled. Your courage and wisdom and strength have saved the day, and you are heroes. This is the end of the quest, and may your life quest to find your life purpose and be that which enhances dignity and well-being with integrity be realized going forward.